Hello, my precious kumquats. Today we're gonna find out how the pewter works. Follow me.
Quando vivo solo sueno horizonte falto de palabras y en la sombra entre luces todas negras para mi mirada. Si tú no estás junto a mí aquí, por ti volaré. Es para que llegaré, mi fin de trayecto es tú. Boats and hoe. Para vivirlo los dos por ti. Volaré.
My name is Jacob Donald Ennis. I was born on March 8th, 1996, and I teach at Springfield Lutheran High School.
Check it out. Shoot my phone.
I like this.
Now phone. To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in your bushes. Who rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club, sipping Moet is where you find me. The back of the club, macking for my crew's behind me. Mad question asking, album passing, music lasting. But I just can't quit because one of these honeys Biggie got to creep with, sleep with, keep the emperor secret. Why not? Why blow up my spot? Cause we both got hot. Now check it. I got more Mac than Craig and in the bed. Believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with Benzes. See notes by the layers. Truly other players. Jump in the Rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in the GS3. I got the out by the tree. I love it when you call me Big Pop.
Okay, so what do we have in the box? First of all, we've got two Intel Xeon X5460 quad-core CPUs. Each core is clocked at 3.1 gigahertz. These CPUs were released in 2006, and we were able to snatch them for a pretty good bargain, about $20 a piece. So you guys want to know more about Dorm Tech? That's actually the business that my friends and I had in college, and the YouTube channel is sort of an offshoot of the business, but the business itself was designed to make money because the school that I went to, Concordia University, Ann Arbor, was situated right next to the University of Michigan, which is one of the largest universities in the state. And so at the time, they were going through lots of their areas of their university and parts of the hospital that they also own in order to sort of get rid of old electronics equipment and purchase new electronics equipment in order to put in there. And so we purchased lots of their older things that they were retiring for extremely low prices because they would sell it to the public. And we'd buy computers, maybe 40 or 50 computers every week. And we'd take all of the parts out of the computers and we'd sell them on eBay. And that made us quite a bit of money, actually, throughout that time. And then for fun, we also did some of the YouTube videos and things like that.
So how much money did you make off Dorm Tech?
Well, personally, I don't have a total of how much that I personally made. I know that the business itself did well over $50,000 of business total.
And how long did Dorm Tech go on for?
It was 2 years that we did that for. And
those years
it
were?
eventually got to the point where they were done with selling all of those computers and the prices started to heighten and there wasn't much of a reason to do it anymore, so we stopped. But until then, we made quite a bit of money off of it.
And what years were those?
Oh, what was that? Maybe 2017, 2018?
And you were in college, correct?
Yes.
She's a bit moist, but she'll get the job done.
Okay, folks, so today I've got some good news and I've got some bad news.
Go. Now, will you explain who Chad Gasket is?
Chad Gasket is the entertainment alter ego that I used for some of the dorm tech videos. And the purpose of Chad Gasket was supposed to be a person who thinks he's super good with computers, but really isn't at all.
Now, talk about your past trauma.
My
as a
past
child.
traumas. Okay, well, I didn't exactly have the easiest upbringing when I was a young child. My dad was actually killed in front of me by a swarm of angry bees. And ever since then, I've been, honestly, I've had a phobia of honey. Anything with honey in it, I can't eat because I'm so afraid of bees. And what they did to my father, he was covered in bee stings and honey when he passed away, and I was sobbing at his bedside. I also watched my mom die. She was actually killed by an alligator, which is the only alligator killing ever reported in Michigan. You can look it up. And the only person I have left is my brother, and he has so many mental disabilities that it's very difficult for me to handle that. But I through teaching and through the community here, I've really been able to better myself and become a happier person and overcome some of these traumas of mine while still taking care of my hideously deformed brother.
Save him! Save him! It's Master's death!
Well, my life after dorm tech would never really be the same. The thing that kind of ended dorm tech for me was really the incident with the alligator and my mother, and how it just it ate her. The only thing that was left was her foot, so that's pretty much what we had to bury. But regardless of that incident, a lot of my friends also moved away after college and things like that, and so after dorm tech, I kind of realized that if I was going to become someone that my mother's left foot would be proud of, that would be a teacher, someone who can shape and form the minds of the youth. And so I actually first started teaching middle school at a place in Michigan called Holt Lutheran Middle School, and I was very
on that redemption game.
You're smoking this. You gotta look for the ball sometimes.
All right. Come up here.
Oh yeah.
Peter.
Personal, that's what I got Twitter for. Instagram, I'm back. I flex on you haters. Hi haters. This is
Across the plate, that's all we need.
Right. If you can hit people, that's all.
What do you mean? I'm watching it. That very finger, I'm watching it. What in the world? I'm telling you.
So I actually first started teaching middle school at a place in Michigan called Holt Lutheran Middle School, and I was very inexperienced then. It was also middle school is a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to teach than high school, and so it was tough. But it really taught me how to push through and how to make sure that I'm doing my job even if things are demanding. After that, I was called to teach here at Springfield Lutheran High School, and I've been teaching geography, history, and computer science classes here ever since, and I've very much enjoyed it.
Some complaints from your students from them not knowing their name as your students.
Yeah, that's 100%. This is something that I know is a flaw of mine. I'm very, very bad with names. And so I just sort of point at people and I kind of go, ugh! And usually they know who I'm talking about. Or I'll call them purposefully by the wrong name, which bothers them even more. Isn't that right, Frederick?
So, my name is Frederick, but so truly, how many students' names do you truly know?
It's probably more easy to count how many students' names I do know, because more students I don't know their names.
Now, you are a victim of Mr. Ennis calling you Aaron.
It's abuse. It's abuse.
And isn't your name Grant?
It is Grant. I was deeply offended that he called me Aaron. And I just can't do it.
Now, a few weeks ago, our state had a very horrible winter storm, as of other states in our country, and you were missing for a couple solid days.
Yeah, I was.
Can you explain where you were?
It was another terrible situation. Sometimes I like to travel back to Michigan so I can visit the grave where my mom's foot is buried, so I can visit my dad's grave. so I can stay away from bees as much as physically possible, and so that I can see my brother and spoon feed him oatmeal. And so I was away, over that 3-day weekend, and as I was driving back to here into Springfield, I ran over a brick. There was a brick in the middle of the highway. It was a paving brick that kind of blended in, and I hit it at 75 miles per hour, and it blew my tire and destroyed my wheel. And so I had to put the spare on and drive back, and I stayed at the house that I inherited from my dead parents for a couple more nights while it was repaired. And it turned out that I also needed to replace all of my brakes and all of the rest of my tires. So it was a costly and lengthy journey, but at least I got to spoon feed my brother even more oatmeal than usual.
Mr. Ennis, I don't know where you've been these past couple weeks. If you've been gone. I heard you got in a car crash, but I just don't believe it. I don't. Not one bit.
Now, there's been some controversy with you being away for those. Oh, snap. With you being away for those few days. As you still posted homework assignments.
Oh, yes. Well, class was in session even though I wasn't there, and I made sure that a sub was here to help with that, and I posted some assignments. I think the real controversy was during that length of snow days where I posted an assignment on a snow day. That seemed to upset people, but I do have to let you guys know that was not 100% my own decision. I was told to do that. I also remember posting an assignment that turned out not to be an assignment but a Rickroll, and students still get a little bit upset at me for that one.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, such a bendy fist.
When did you begin to pump iron?
Pump iron? Yeah, so actually, when I was in college, I was quite a skinny young lad with very little strength to speak of. And I started dating a girl who was very much into fitness, and so she got me to join the college track team. And from there, I really enjoyed the lifting portions of the track workouts we did. And so after track season was over, I just continued to lift weights. And I've never stopped. I found that it helps me focus, and that it takes my mind away from my father's body covered in bee stings and honey.
So now I'm going to ask you a question. It might make us both uncomfortable, but it's
Okay.
It's a question. It's a 4-letter word. Just don't get uncomfortable when I say it. Legs.
Legs? Oh. Yes. I know exactly what you're speaking about. My ankles specifically are so small and fragile, and as a weightlifter, it's difficult to really work out those ankles. I've tried rollerblading. I've tried putting dumbbells on my toes and slowly doing ankle curls. But ultimately, the worst thing about ankles is that every time I look at my skinny ankles, it reminds me of the fact that alligator, the only thing left of my mom was that left foot and her left ankle. And every time I see my ankle, they were the same size because I have small womanly ankles. It's just sad.
Now, how's your experience been here with state runner Mason Coy here at Lutheran High School, being his assistant coach on the track team?
Well, Mason Coy is obviously a very talented individual. He's a state jumper, not a state runner. But Mason and I have had some ups and downs in our relationship as coach and student. If I had any message that I could give Mason, if ever he could hear me, would be that he's way too cocky and he needs to totally keep himself in check. But he is a talented young man, and I think he can go far.
Now, will you explain your experience with Jacob Ennis as your assistant track coach here at Lutheran High School?
Yeah, he's a pretty solid coach. He's always there for when I need him. Except for when I need a hand. He can't really carry anything. His ankles are too tiny to support his body weight. He moves pretty quick though, so I'll give him that. But other than that, he's just all around pretty good guy.
Now, we've seen some clips of you acting up in your classroom sessions for your classes here in your school, and would you consider yourself a man-child?
Well, I definitely like to keep class entertaining, and I figure if I do some odd things, it serves kind of a double purpose. First of all, it keeps students from becoming too friendly with me because, they think I'm mentally deranged. And second of all, it keeps them on the edge of their seat. Students never really know what's going to happen next, and that kind of keeps them focused. Also, doing really bizarre things sort of helps, keep the pain away.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up, 'cause you know we're about to rip it up. Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together, now you know you in trouble. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Too low depth, going crazy. Death Row is the label that pays me. Unfadable, so please don't try to fake it. But back to the lecture at hand. Perfection is perfected, so I'ma let them understand. From a young G's perspective, and before me dig on a picture,
Now, what's been your experience with Jacob Ennis in the classroom?
Well, I'd say he's kind of a nice guy. I mean, besides other people, he's somewhat hostile, but I don't. He's really nice in other chances.
Would you say he's a perfect history teacher?
The best.
Through it all, from feeding your dysfunctional brother, from the bee stings, the alligator that haunted your childhood, through dorm tech, Chad Gasket, through Lutheran High, through all the controversy, would you do it all again?
I would, if I had that opportunity. I think honestly, from how difficult my situation was to where I am now, I think I've made a lot of progress, and there's a lot of things that I wouldn't give up. But if I think back to some of the tragedies that happened, like, if I could be there, to stop that alligator, if I could bring 15 knives, and a crossbow just to make sure that alligator didn't get away with chomping on me mom, or if I could, if I could have stopped those bees from devouring my father, or if I could somehow go back in time to keep my brother from being born just so hideously disabled. I really think that I would do those things, but with the card that I've been dealt and the things that I've been given, I don't think there's many changes that I would make. I'm here in the United States, and I have my freedom, and I have the love of my friends and my family that is all dead, other than my brother and my students, and it's and God, of course. And so every time I wake up, I just look out the window and I cry tears of joy at this life that's been given to me and how I was able to turn things around.
Now, would you call yourself the greatest history teacher of all time?
I may or may not be the greatest history teacher of all time. That's something that I can't really speak on, but I do know that I am by far the greatest smelling history teacher of all time.
I hate that man so much.
I'm a dreamer, but my heart's of gold. I had to run away high, so I wouldn't come home low. Just when things went right, it doesn't mean they were always wrong. Just take this song, and you'll never be left all alone. Take me to your heart, fill me in your bones. Just one more night, and I'm coming on this long and winding road. I'm on my way, I'm on my way, home sweet home.
If you could do it all again. If you could do it all again, through dorm tech, through your mom's foot being eaten by the alligator.
I honestly don't know. I had to dig a grave for her foot, and so I crawled into the open grave with her foot, and in the fetal position, and cried for 3 days before getting out, buying a Big Mac, and then piling all the dirt back in. That's when I decided to become a teacher.
So random.
Ready, set, go.
I'm going to say a word, and Now, once you got to Lutheran High and became, hold on. Now, would you call yourself the greatest history teacher of all time?
No, I'm not even the greatest.
Nope. Now, what do you do for a living?
I get people to suck my toes for $1.
Oh, no!
If you could do it all again, through helping your dysfunctional brother from your shoot. Now, would you call yourself the greatest history teacher of all time?
I may not be the greatest history teacher of all time, but I'm certainly the best smelling history teacher of all time.